Hey, Matt Lachlan here with Coeur d'Alene Real Producers. This is our longer interview with Greg Link at Link Properties Group. I hope you enjoy the video. You're going to get to know Greg at a more personal level, learn about his family, what drives him, what makes him tick outside of real estate and inside of real estate.
I kind of grew up in Idaho. I was born in New York, and then my family moved here when I was about one.
Yeah.
And lived here till I was about 9 years old, and then they moved back to New York because construction in the 80s was super slow here. So
I remember you shared that.
Yeah. So we went back to New York. I lived in New York till I graduated high school. I was going to go to college up there. My parents said, "Hey, we're moving back to Idaho," and I decided to just come back with them. When I moved here, my grandfather was a builder, and he was building a subdivision in Hayden, and so we moved into one of his new construction homes. And Corinne moved here after her high school. She graduated in Oregon, and she moved to live with her dad, and we were neighbors.
That's amazing. What a shared commonality.
Yeah. So it was fun. So we met, and
how old were you two?
I was probably 19, and she was probably 18.
That is so cool.
Just graduated high school, and yeah, we got married young.
How long have you been married now?
24 years.
That's amazing.
It'll be our 25th year in January. Getting married young, some wisdom is what you're asking.
Yeah. Help us.
I don't know if I would get married young. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But hindsight, what I've learned and what I'm still learning is I have to pursue my wife every day.
Yeah. And
just put her first, and it's kind of like the scripture says Christ loves the church, and it's how you're supposed to treat your wife. So I'm still learning that every day, and it's hard and it's not easy, but we've made it through it. And we were raising kids. I mean, we had our first kid. Our daughter's 22. So
wow.
And we just married her off last year.
Wow! Congrats.
So it's fun.
So tell me a little bit about your children and what they're doing today.
Okay, so 22-year-old daughter just got married. She works at she's a barista at a coffee stand, and her husband works for it's in the federal prison, but it's not really in the prison. Mm-hmm. The inmates are kind of got a second chance to do work release and things like that. Mm-hmm. So he just started about a month ago, so I really don't know exactly what it is, but so they just moved back up to Coeur d'Alene, so that's exciting. And I got two boys, 19 and almost 18. 19-year-old's going NIC, and then the Brogan, the 17-year-old, he just graduated high school, and so just still figuring out what he wants to do. He has a passion for photography, so he wants to pursue that.
Tell us about some of your family interests when the Link family has time together. What do you like to do? That sort of thing.
We love to travel. We travel a lot. Mm-hmm. We work hard and play hard is kind of our family motto. So we do a lot of traveling. We love Maui. We try to go there for about a month a year. At the end of the year, we try to go for the month of December 15th-ish to January 15th. And we've been doing that for about 7 years.
Oh, that's a great tradition.
Yeah,
Christmas down there every time. Yeah.
So my parents are realtors. My grandma is a realtor. She had a brokerage in town for probably 30 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She first started, it was called, I think it was ERA, LP Link Realty. And then she sold, I think it was in the 80s, she sold to Tomlinson. And then I think she did a no-compete for a certain amount of time. And then she just couldn't sit still, so started another small brokerage again. Oh. And so my wife actually started working with my grandma right at 18, 19 years old, cold calling and circling Nicholsworth ads and calling those people. And she did it for about 12 years before I got into real estate. So
your wife did it?
My wife did, yeah.
Real estate?
Yeah.
Then? Oh, wow.
Yeah, she worked for my grandma for 12 years.
Wow. Did she get her real estate license and do the thing?
Right at 19, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Tell us what you're doing right before real estate and what inspired you to get into it. Did you have reservations about the whole thinking at the time?
Yeah. I actually did have reservations. That's probably why it took me so long to get in. I don't look at myself as a salesman, and I thought you had to be a salesman to be in real estate. And so kind of that part of it turned me off. And when my wife was doing it for 12 years, I had a construction cleanup business in town. So we did a lot of janitorial for commercial buildings. And then we did a lot of new construction on some higher end homes around the lake for like Edward Smith and Campbell and things like that. So that's what I did. And then I got to this point where I was pretty much making the same money 12 years later that I was, and I had over 20 employees, and it just got to the point where it was like, man, this is just a lot of work. And I hated being in a position where somebody else could ruin my name. So if we had an employee steal something, it always came back on me. So I wanted to do something where I could only be in charge of, my destiny. So that's kind of how I started. I joined, got my license, worked with my wife for about a year. We worked together, and then an opportunity came up for her to buy a boutique. And so she did that, and that's been her passion. She's always wanted to do that. So
what does drive you personally?
Family. Just spending time with family and giving them the best life that they could possibly have here. I mean, we're blessed to live here, and it's just it's an amazing place to live, especially in the summer. But just being able to take them and travel with them and create memories and show them culture throughout the world. And that's, one of the things that kind of started my drive was we had when our oldest son was born, he was born with cystic fibrosis, and we never even heard of it. So we, that kind of put a pressure on us as parents, trying to give him the best life that we could give him. And, through our traveling, we found that every time we would go to Hawaii, he would do better. And so he would breathe better, he would eat better and gain weight, because they kind of sometimes have a failure to thrive. And so that became one of my goals, was to be able to always have a place that we could always take him if he got sick or if he just needed to get away. So that was one of my biggest driving forces, was to be able to have a condo there that we could just have to fly there if we had to. So that was a huge motivation for me, just to be able to do that. So
that's powerful.
That's one of the reasons why we do that every year. And he's perfectly healthy now, so we still go. I think that's what motivates me. I love that part. When it's the 11th hour and we got to figure out a way to, they're either going to take their house off the market if they don't get an offer, or it's falling apart because of appraisal or something like that. I mean, that's the part that I love the most, is trying to get creative and keeping the transaction alive. Especially if the buyer and seller still want to put the transaction together. It's just a matter of getting creative and seeing what we can do to help.
It's so interesting.
I hope that it's a legacy, right? I hope that my kids can, we always want our kids to be better than us. And so I hope that we've trained them enough to, love people, be kind, help as many people out as they can, and just be a good steward of what you're given. So I hope I'm doing that.
Given where you stand today in the business and the season of life with your family, what are you aiming for in the next 5 to 10 years? What are you most excited about doing, developing?
It's a great question. So we're in an interesting spot just with our kids growing up and possibly being empty nesters. So I have no desire of ever getting out of this business. I love it. One of the thoughts I've had is maybe expanding and being able to sell real estate in Maui. That's a big thought. Just got to find the right people. So
wonderful. It'll be I hope we can do a follow-up interview about that. Is that okay if we share that thought?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just the optics of it. That's awesome. Well, it's such an extension of everything.
It'd be a full circle of what our intention was to go there in the first place, and then to just be able to, attempt to sell real estate over there. And I don't even know if I'm going to be the agent over there, or create a team over there or something.
Or Gregory the Third.
That's right. Have the kids take over. So
that's a beautiful vision, especially knowing how meaningful the place is to your family.